In the bustling city of Capernaum, along the edge of the Sea of Galilee, life thrived in a whirl of activity. Fishermen hauled in their catches, merchants bartered their wares, and children ran through the streets in carefree games. Amidst this vibrant scene sat Matthew, a tax collector. Stationed at his booth, Matthew's eyes swept over the crowds, observing, calculating. His position, while lucrative, isolated him from the community. Tax collectors were often seen as traitors, working for the Roman occupiers and enriching themselves at the expense of their fellow Jews. One warm afternoon, as Matthew counted the coins he had collected, a hush fell over the bustling marketplace. Heads turned, whispers spread. A man, known by some as a teacher, by others as a healer, was making his way through the streets. This was Jesus of Nazareth, whose words and deeds had been the talk of the region. As Jesus approached Matthew's booth, the crowd's curiosity grew. Matthew looked up from his coins, meeting the gaze of the teacher. Jesus' eyes were kind but piercing, as if seeing into the depths of Matthew's soul. Without a word of condemnation, Jesus simply said, "Follow me." Matthew's heart pounded. He was a man who had grown accustomed to wealth, though it came with the price of social scorn. Yet, in that moment, something stirred within him, a longing for acceptance, for purpose beyond the counting of coins and the tallying of taxes. He stood, leaving behind his booth, his coins, his old life, and followed Jesus. Later that evening, Matthew hosted a dinner at his home. The guests were not the righteous or the pious, but his fellow tax collectors and sinners, those who, like him, lived on the fringes of society. They reclined around the table, sharing food, laughter, and the curiosity about the man who had so easily called Matthew away from his previous life. Outside, the religious leaders, the Pharisees, watched in disapproval. They murmured among themselves, scandalized by the sight of Jesus dining with such disreputable company. One of them called out to Jesus' disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" Hearing this, Jesus replied, his voice carrying the authority of someone who spoke from deep conviction, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, for I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." The Pharisees fell silent, pondering the weight of his words. In that moment, the house filled with the warmth of acceptance and understanding, as if a light had been cast into the lives of those who had gathered. Matthew, now a follower of Jesus, felt the bonds of his past break away, replaced by a sense of belonging and purpose.